Hello everyone, my name is Simon Docking. I'm the Managing and Artistic Director of Scotia Festival of Music. Welcome to Day 3 of Scotial Distancing, our special online festival for 2020. And again, I'd like to thank Fred and Elizabeth Fountain for their generous support. We've had the great privilege of welcoming Philip Glass to be composer in residence at Scotia Festival twice. Once back in 1999 and again in 2018. His 4-day residency in 2018 was the result of 3 years of planning and negotiations, but it was a wonderful event. He was very generous with his time with our young artists, and he gave 4 evenings of talks and performances of his music. It was very interesting to hear his thoughts about what he'd been up to in the intervening years since his last visit, and he shared with us quite a few of his more recent compositions. Here he is now with 2 of his piano Etudes. These are numbers 9 and 10. Over the years, Philip Glass has done a number of jobs apart from being a composer, including, quite famously, being a taxi driver in New York and a plumber. We gave him something else for his CV when he was here in 2018, interviewer. He told us it was the very first time he'd done this job when he sat down here in the music room for a chat with our founding managing and artistic director, Chris Wilcox.
See, this guy it's like the stone that's been in the river that just doesn't move. The water keeps running over it, the stone's always there. Here's the stone. And the music is the river.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's nice, Phil. I like that.
I just made that up, by the way.
Yeah.
But what were the things that, for you, were the biggest thing that changed in the last 38 years?
I can get an espresso.
That's right.
That's
You can make it at home.
Yeah.
No, I'm not interested in that. No, I'm talking about the music world that you came in, and the music world that you're still in, and the music world that you'll someday leave behind you, but it won't be that soon, we hope.
Yeah. No, thanks. No, I don't. I'm going to stick around for a while, Phil. Yeah. My appreciation of new music has grown because of Scotia Festival of Music. I've been introduced to. We've had many composers in residence from different parts of the world.
Give me some of the names.
Oliver Newson from England, Murray Schafer from here.
The one you most admire?
Philip Glass.
No, Boulez.
Well, Boulez from France.
Don't give me that.
That was an interesting time.
You have kind of the Glenn Gould problem here. You have this towering musical genius.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get anywhere near him.
Yeah.
We have someone like that would be Bernstein.
Yeah.
Leonard Bernstein, that was like that. It's hard to get anyone that was as great as he was.
Yeah.
So they become a kind of an icon that you gather around that. Interpreters are super important parts of our world.
No kidding.
It's not just being a player, but being an interpreter. And that's what I was encouraging them. I said that they had to take that responsibility.
Yeah.
They seem to be, they liked it, I think.
No, that's true. You have to treat every piece of music with the same amount of intensity and care.
When you did your program, what were the things that you were thinking about for each festival?
Well,
you must have had a kind of a checklist of some kind. You had to have this or that.
Well, I like a contemporary piece, an interesting piece, something that's unexpected in the first half, and then something traditional in the second half. The beauty of Scotia Festival, it's not a new music festival, it's not a traditional festival. You never know what you're going to get, and I like keeping it that way. Keep them guessing, Phil.
And also, I made a point, and I think you do this too, you tell me if I'm wrong, that I didn't just have things that I liked. In other words, if I didn't like something, that didn't mean they couldn't be on the program.
Right.
I would program pieces. I bring people into these concerts that I didn't particularly like them, but other people did.
Yeah.
But some people don't do that. Yeah. It has to be what they like.
Oh, no, it's not what I like. No, for sure. How do you learn if you just have the stuff that you already know and like?
Mm-hmm. What was the biggest surprise you had?
Well,
in the good one, it can be a good surprise, it can be a bad surprise.
Gee, there's so many, Phil. Emily Doolittle is a surprise. Do you know that name?
Mm-mm.
She came to me in '91. She wanted to audition on the oboe, and she didn't play very well. But so I didn't let her into the Young Artist program. But she came to Pierre's lecture on the future of music. She was going into engineering, and she changed courses on that day, and became a composer, and now she teaches at Yale. And she's been our composer in residence here. You know, that's a wonderful kind of surprise. There are chronic practicers. John Browning was like that. he had an intermission in that concert, and it was in a church. And we found a board member's house across the street, and he actually went over to the board member's house at intermission and practiced for 10 minutes.
Last night I was, you know, when you travel, you wake up at funny times.
Yeah.
I was up at 3 o'clock and I said,
Oh.
and I have a piano in my room
I
thanks
know.
to you.
Yeah.
And I said, let me go and play that Panzone piece myself.
Yeah.
And I turned the volume down because I can do it. I have an electric piano.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm a very good piano.
Yeah.
And I played through the whole piece, kind of in the dark.
Yeah.
Then I went back to sleep.
Ah, that's nice. Phil, it's such a joy having you here.
Oh, it's great to be here.
Yeah.
But you know, this is the first time I've been up here and I didn't go to Cape Breton.
Yeah. You're not
In
going
fact,
up
my
this
Cape
time.
Breton friend says, what you what? You were here and you didn't? Well, I wanted to ask you one other, I don't know, what do you think of what we call Scottish music? Don't, you know, violin, people like Ashley.
Oh,
Where does that fit
Phil,
in?
I have to admit, I love all music. I'm a Dixieland fan freak, and jazz lover, and you know, good musicians are in every field. You know, Woody Nelson singing country and western stuff, and I'm a huge Ray Charles fan. I've got all of his recordings. I went backstage once when he was here, and he asked me what I did, and I said I play clarinet in the orchestra. And he said, "What's a real musician doing at one of my concerts?" I said, "Ray." Yeah.
Do you ever do Scottish music here?
We had 1 year Scott McMillan, who was a composer here. You might know Scott.
I don't.
Yeah. He wrote a piece for 4 Cape Breton fiddlers and string quartet.
How was it?
Oh, it was fantastic. And we had Buddy McMaster.
Oh, I know him.
And 3 other Cape Breton fiddlers. Yeah. Buddy gave a master class with Mark Fuhr, and the kids asked Mark Fuhr how much his violin was worth, and Mark said $700,000. And they asked Buddy what his violin was worth. He said, "Well, this one's for sale right now. I'm asking 120, but I'll take 75." I think
I'm not surprised.
I think, yeah.
I heard him
No,
play.
I love that music. It's so alive.
I heard Buddy McMaster because they have Scottish music concerts all the time in Cape Breton.
Yes, of course.
And
You've been to the Red Shoe?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But also they have this festival that wanders around a little bit.
Yeah.
It's near Inverness often, or at any rate. And Ashley comes back home every summer, but he doesn't play at the festivals very much. He plays in one of the bars, and you know where he likes to play.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, he's cleaned up his
So
act.
you presented Scottish music too.
Oh yeah, no, we did. We had a whole concert of Scottish music, except for the Barrio Sequenza for solo trombone, on the same program.
Oh really?
So the Cape Breton audience, which is the cone was full, got to hear a trombone solo. They didn't like it very much.
Well, you don't know that.
But I shoved it in there.
Maybe they remembered it though.
Yeah. Oh no, they'd remember it. Oh. Yeah, no kidding. There was some things about your first year was very special too, Phil, that I'll never forget. You know, I have to admit, not really familiar with your music, and sort of dismissed it until, yeah, I actually heard it, you do it. And having Melissa here was such a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
And by the way, you be proud that year set the record for box office sales for Scotia Festival.
Those are the records I like.
Yeah.
I'm a practical fellow.
Me too. Fundraising is 90% of my job, you know.
Well, sometimes there are not enough seats in a place.
No, that's
like
right.
this place. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it has to be supported.
Yeah.
Basically, when you run a place like this, it's a gift to the city.
Yeah. You know, Pierre Boulez's definition of a masterpiece is the unexpected which has become necessary. and that's the music room.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's now a part. You know, it just sort of
When
appeared.
did you start it?
2002. It was built. It opened. The door, soundproof door, arrived an hour before our opening concert.
It's cutting it pretty close.
Yeah, it's getting in pretty close.
How's your audience changed?
Well, there I would say half a dozen people in the audience that were here in 1980 when we started.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, but we've everybody worries about audiences dying off, but when little old ladies die off, there's another little old lady comes along. You know.
I was talking to someone recently, and they said, "Oh, music is in a bad way. There are less players and less of this and that." And I said, "I don't see it that way.
Yeah.
I think
No,
it's good." I said, especially in politically charged moments like we have right now,
We need cheering
the
up.
arts are really coming out very
Yeah,
strongly.
that's right. Yeah.
The arts always, I think it's Mother Nature rebalancing. If society goes too far off in one way, Mother Nature makes sure that the artists come back.
Right.
And they become very strong, and that's what's happening right now. The thing about Halifax is that the city of Halifax, some people know it because of the festival.
Well, Claude Franck, the pianist, I heard years ago, this was in the mid-90s, at a concert in New York. And I went up to him and shook his hand, and he said, "Thanks for coming. Where are you from?" "Halifax." He said, "There's a wonderful festival up there. I heard about Scotia Festival of Music." I didn't say anything to him at all. I didn't say I ran it or anything else. But that really, really meant something to me.
Oh.
There's a really good festival up there.
Well, institutions are more solid than buildings.
Yeah, yeah,
The kinds of institutions that are made by people, and by dreams and by hard work.
yeah.
And with bravery, too. I'm sure there must have been difficult. Tell me one of the worst things that happened to you. It may not be in this piece.
Well,
let's say the scariest thing.
Well, the scariest thing is Elmer Oliveira was supposed to come to Scotia Festival, and I was driving Mark Fuhrer and Marc-Andre Amelin back from the airport to start Scotia Festival, and this violinist, Elmer Oliveira, called the office and said he's got an injury and he wasn't going to be able to play, and he was an integral part of Scotia Festival. But by the time we got back from Halifax Airport, we had the whole schedule reprogrammed, and so the panic was gone. Marc-Andre said, "Well, I'll play 2 recitals to fill in for his recital," and
you probably had a great time.
We had a great time. Yeah,
Did
I kind of like.
Did that person? Did he ever come back?
He did come back. Yeah, and do you know the name?
Yeah.
Elmer Oliveira. He's a wonderful. He drinks a lot of martinis too.
Some people do.
It's hard to keep up. Although I've tried on occasion.
I drink the ginger beer here, which is not alcoholic. But I'm not pushing it. But
Well, I saw you sneak a glass of red wine the other day.
I did.
Yeah.
I did that. If you know me real well, that would have been a sign that I had a really good evening.
Yeah, good.
Well, a really good evening. I'll have a glass of wine.
We had a really good evening that evening.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Good. Well, I'm sure I'll see you back here again.
Yeah, sure. Oh, good, Phil. That's great
Good.
news.
Finally, here's some great music from our good friend and regular Scotia Festival guest artist, John Novacek. Besides being a piano virtuoso, John is an ingenious composer. In 2019, he and violinist Mark Fuhrer brought the house down with their performances of 2 of John's original rags entitled Intoxication and 4th Street Drag. Thanks for joining us tonight. Come back tomorrow at the same time for some historic footage of R. Murray Schafer's visit to Scotia Festival in 1993.